Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Hi, y'all. You can get involved by calling 888-7753. 888-77-JESSE, Jesse. A brand new biblical question. Brand new biblical question. Do you see what you do to yourself? Do you see what you do to yourself, or do you only see what others do to you? Do you see what you do to yourself, or do you only see what others do to you? An amazing question. Amazing. And these questions are intended to encourage you to get to know yourself, to know thyself. Amazing, huh? And some people are doing it, most are not, because they love their hell, they love their misery, they love being blind. And okay, that's fine. God doesn't care, neither do I. It's for those who want to overcome. It really is. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about traveling, lots of people are traveling, you can listen to the show, working out, whatever you might be doing, on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, JLP Talk on Twitter, JLP Talk on Twitter, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. JLP Talk on Twitter and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Follow, like, ring the bell, subscribe. Y'all know what to do. Amazing. So, by the way, happy Men's History Month. August is Men's History Month. And if ever, amazing, if ever men would need it, it's now. It's a mess as a result of men being weak, men being lost, being blind. So, happy Men's History Month. I have on my Men's History Month. You can get this shirt at rebuildingtheman.com/stores. rebuildingtheman.com/stores. All right. I have said over and over and over again that our battle is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil, right versus wrong. It's not personal at all. And if you feel something within yourself, rather feel good or feel bad, it's in you. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Your parents for not being a good example, but as an adult, it's your fault. And no one can make you feel anything that's not in you. And so when you do get a feeling from it, whether so-called love feeling or hate feeling, just know it's in you and don't blame the other person. You listen to thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. And feelings, emotions come from thought, and they will deceive you. Look how many people think that they're in love. Men and women think they're in love, and come to find out later they're not. They are in hate. And then they try to make themselves feel love again. And they do everything. They battle with one another to try to get that feeling. And once in a while it may come back, but most of the time it doesn't. And then they want to destroy one another because somehow or another they don't feel love anymore, they feel hate. Not knowing that the so-called love they felt was hate. There is no feeling to love. There's a false feeling to love. What you feel is not love, it's hate. But you call it love because it seemed to feel good. What a mess. And just as the devil is going after you within your mind and emotion, he's outside of you, inside of others as well, going after you in their mind and emotion. And if those people can make you feel something or doubt something or be glad to see it, because it's something that you need to overcome. They don't even know that they're making you feel that way. They want to make you feel that way, but if you feel anything, be glad that you were able to recognize what you felt, and that's all you need to do is to see it. Do nothing else about it. Because you're confessing within yourself that you have these feelings. But if you blame someone else for it, it only gets worse. A perfect example of that is, and it's a big example, but there are little ones too, right? Is the blacks. They hate the white people because they can't do it on their own now. And so in their hate, they're trying to force white people to give them something. Affirmative action, reparations, lower the test scores, test standards, whatever, right? Because they can't do it for themselves, and because they're not examining themselves as individuals, they don't know that the problem is in them and not someone else. Someone else has their own problems too, situations and problems, but it's in them. And so the blacks are constantly going after the whites. And if you notice, they're only getting worse and not better. There's no sign of getting better. Yes, they have more money, but that's not making things better. Because the money they have is what the white people have given to them without earning. Lowering the test scores or letting them come on the job without knowing what they're doing. And it's not making them better. They don't see that as an individual, it's them. It has nothing to do with color, period. And that's how your life will be if you don't work on you. You are your world. You are your world. You are your world. And if you don't work on your world, it's not going to work for you in someone else's world. You are the world. There is a physical world out there outside of you that we live in, but you are the world. And if you don't work on overcoming your own world, you're in for a life of misery. Because nobody loves nobody. There's no love. Mothers don't love their children. Husband and wife don't love one another. Fathers don't love their children. Family members don't love one another. So-called friends, which doesn't exist, don't love one another. Co-workers don't love one another. Your government, your public servants don't love one another or you. It's all about self, but it's the wrong self. So you have a choice. You could be free in all this mess that's going on around you and not be bothered by it at all. Or you could be enslaved within yourself, and all the mess that's going on around you will destroy you. It'll bring fear. It'll bring doubt. It'll bring worry. It'll bring things that will cause you to destroy yourself. It's up to you. I was thinking of the Great White Hope, Donald Trump. Last night, as I was watching the news, another so-called indictment, right?
Tomorrow they will say, Donald Trump rants and raves at the press. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you, you're dishonest people.
See there? They hate that. Amazing. And so they're going after him again. And they in all my bone days, I've never seen anything like this. But I am fortunate to see what I can understand from the issues that Donald Trump is having to deal with, the Great White Hope. I'm fortunate that I can understand it, seeing what I'm paying attention to see what I can understand from this situation that the President Donald Trump is going through. And it's interesting. And I want to encourage you to avoid emotions and have that little space there so you can see what you can understand from Donald Trump's situation. It's an amazing thing to watch. It's the best movie ever. And from day one, when he first announced a while back that he was running for president before he became president, I knew then that there was something different about this person, Donald Trump. I had seen examples of it growing up in older men, how secure they were in dealing with issues in their own lives and the issues that came from other people toward them. And that they never backed down. They were never afraid. And if they felt fear, they weren't going around complaining about it or telling anyone. They just dealt with life because they knew, as Donald Trump knows, only that kind of help come from God. And so watching how the Great White Hope, Donald Trump, is dealing with what's happening now. And I also wonder this morning, as I was going over this with my producer, I wonder, what is the real deal? What is it that I'm not seeing about this situation with the Great White Hope? Do they want us to focus on him, and they're pretending that he's going to jail, he's this, because they have another plan? Or do they want us to overreact to what's happening with Donald Trump, the situation that Donald Trump is dealing with, so that we can overreact, and then come election time, bam, they hit us with something else that we didn't see coming because you've overreacted to what's happening now. That's why in life you should never overreact to anything at any time. And that way you're not set up for a surprise, October surprise. Stop overreacting. Get to know yourself. Stop overreacting. When you overreact, the devil is controlling you. He's blinding you so you don't see what's really going on. And so, as of this day, I have much respect for Donald Trump, the Great White Hope, and how he's dealing with this. And I also see the glee in the eyes of the people who hate him, the media when they report on it, and the joy that they're getting from thinking that they're hurting their fellow man. God said, pray for one another, but these people hate him. And they get a certain joy out of thinking that they're hurting him, when in reality they're not. Because just think about it. There's no reason for Donald Trump to run for president. He can just say, okay, I'm done, and go and play golf and live in his mansions around the world and just retire and move on with his life. He doesn't have to deal with all this mess. He's not desperate for this at all. But because his love of what is right and for the country, he's doing it. And they hate him for it. And this is the rhino Republicans and the Democrats and the media and the whatever else party you belong to. The witch hunt continues. But it's a spiritual battle, folks. The same thing is happening in your life, too. It's just not public. But the same thing happening to you. And in your world, it might seem like a small world to somebody who don't know you. You're not in the public eye, right? But to you, it's still a big situation. It makes you freak out. It's happening to you. Nothing is no different. It's no different. Breitbart, this witch hunt continues, as I said. Breitbart, this is from Breitbart. Special Counsel Jack Smith announced Tuesday evening that a grand jury in Washington, D.C. has indicted former President Donald Trump on charges relating to the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Trump has now been indicted 3 times. They don't even indict the blacks for burning down, rioting, and destroying a country. They didn't indict those people. They raised money to help them not to go to jail. But the president, 3 times. Watch this from ABC and C-SPAN. Watch this.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6, 2021, was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies. The men and women of law enforcement who defended the U.S. Capitol on January 6th are heroes. They are patriots and they are the very best of us. Since the attack on our Capitol, the Department of Justice has remained committed to ensuring accountability for those criminally responsible for what happened that day.
This morning, a lawyer for former President Trump says the new indictment against his client, the third so far, will be the hardest to prosecute, arguing Trump is protected under the First Amendment.
This is unprecedented. It affects not just Donald Trump, it affects every American who now realizes that the First Amendment is under assault.
Trump's lawyer also expressing doubt that the special counsel will be able to prove Trump did not believe his own election fraud claims when he allegedly tried to overturn the 2020 election results.
We now have a political incumbent who is attacking Americans for their beliefs, attacking Americans for their speech, and attacking Americans for their politics.
Amazing. How come that guy Jack Smith looked so scared? I was just so scared. It looked like he was scared Donald Trump was going to come through the front door or something. But same thing happening in your life in different ways. It's no different. It's the same spirit. Situations may be a little different, but it's the same spirit. Think about this. You should really smoke on this. Human beings deliberately hurt other human beings. Human beings created in the image of God go after other human beings and try to hurt them. And if you're weak and don't know yourself, you could be hurt. That's mind-blowing too. It doesn't make sense that, when I say it doesn't make sense, I do understand why. But it doesn't make sense that another human being can make you feel a certain way or hurt you. They can't hurt Donald Trump. You put him in prison, he's going to become president of the prison. What the? Amazing, huh? And they use all the nice word, patriot. Donald Trump does, both sides do, to draw you in. And remind you that the Great White Hope is running for president and look like the Republican supporters and some of those who are not Republicans but are not saying out loud are supporting Donald Trump. No matter what. Amazing, huh? But that's happening in your family life, your marriages, your life. It's no different. It's the same thing. The situation is different, but it's the same evil spirit. Satan doesn't do anything new. He doesn't make anyone have new thoughts. They're all the same. They are all the same, all around the world. In different languages, he speaks all languages. Satan does. But the same thing happens around the world to everybody. This is why you must seek the kingdom of God, his right way. Put that first before anybody or anything. Otherwise, you're going to continue to have hell on earth. And then when you try to work on yourself, start working on yourself, that's when hell really going to come forward. Because the devil doesn't want to lose one soul. One soul. And if you notice that these indictment comes down on the same day that they announce things about Hunter Biden. And speaking of Hunter Biden, how's your little business going? You can be running an empire and the woman say, hi, I heard you have a little business. What the? But they're doing it because they want to distract you from the Joe Biden and his son's situation, or something else is going on. So have a little space there. Don't overreact, so you can see behind the curtain. So I said that these indictments against the Great White Hope comes down every time they announce something about Joe Biden and his boy. Breitbart's reported that, listen to this, folks, in April, Aaron Braggs indicted Trump on the same day that a former Biden aide testified that the White House version of Biden's mishandling of classified documents were wrong. They come after the president on the same day. And they know that the president is going to get all the attention because the media hate him, right? And so then it's less attention on Joe Biden. But there may be something else going on, too, behind this. In June, Jack Smith indicted Trump for classified documents. On the same day, lawmakers revealed that Joe and Hunter Biden had received $5 million each from Ukrainian energy company, Burisma. Sounds like a coffee company. Burisma. Yesterday's indictment came the day after a former Hunter Biden business associate testified that Hunter Biden had put his father on the phone with Hunter's business associate, that Hunter had been hired by Burisma to influence Joe Biden to stop a prosecutor, and that Hunter Biden had made money from China, all the way from China. So it's more than what their eyes can see. Stay calm. Don't overreact. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And never assume that you're going to know that you know how this thing's going to turn out, because you don't. The thoughts will tell you, oh, I know how it's going to turn out, but the thoughts are lying to you. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. It's a spiritual battle. Joe Biden has, so you see how they're doing this back to back, right? And when they do, if you notice the liberal media, if they speak about Biden and his son's situation, it's for 1 minute only. But they'll do a whole 30-minute hour on the Great White Hope. Joe Biden has maintained that he never spoke to his son about any of this. Watch this from X and Fox.
Mr. Vice President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
I did not know he was on the board of that company. I've never discussed my business or their business, my sons or daughters. I never discussed a single thing with my son about anything having to do with Ukraine.
Clearly he talked, whether it's about the weather or whatever, but he said specifically that he's never talked to them. Doesn't this contradict?
He never said that he has never spoken to anyone. He said that he had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings. If he says hello to someone that he sees his son with, is he supposed to say, hi, son? Oh, no, I'm not going to say hello to the other people at the table or the other people on the phone? It's kind of a preposterous premise to think that a father should not say hello to people that the son are at dinner with. And sounds like most of the time, now President Biden didn't even know who the people he was at dinner. He was just asked to say hello, and he would, talk about the way he described it several times. They asked over and over and over. He described what the weather was, how what's going on your end.
Amazing. Same thing happening in your world. No different. Different situation, but the same spirit. Evil. Amazing, huh? So you call all the way from China to find out how the weather is. Amazing. It's interesting, too. That's how he is as president. Breitbart also reported that in addition to some morning headlines led with the news that polls were showing that Trump was not only likely to win the Republican presidential nomination, but could defeat President Biden and a rematch in November 2024. Interesting. Don't get excited about that either. That's a setup. Have a wait to see. It's more going on than you can imagine behind the scenes. There's more going on. And when I say that this is how he is as president, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I never asked about his business. Oh, no, I ain't did nothing. But I let everyone else take care of it. And he seemed not to be aware of what's even going on. What a mess! It's a spiritual battle. It has nothing to do with color. Nothing, zero to do with color. Either you wake up and live, or you stay asleep and die. It is totally up to you. Quick break, 888-77-53773. Just watch, have a little space between you and the Great White Hope or anyone, and watch. I'll be back in a moment. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. 888-775-3773. Welcome back. There is a line open. Someone want to jump in there. I want to quickly make some announcements here. Thursday night, tomorrow night, is the first Thursday of this month. And if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, we will be having our monthly men's forum tomorrow night at 7 p.m., guys. Come on down. It is going to be a hoot-nanny overtime. And don't worry, ladies. The third Thursday night, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, it will be for you as well. The Hake, H-A-K-E report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. 9 a.m. from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. We don't have the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby. At 12 noon Pacific time. I don't know if you caught the American Anchor Baby show yesterday. If you didn't podcast it, it was very, very mamma mia, oh la Cicio, very, very interesting. The American Anchor Baby. So you can podcast yesterday. Check it out. And don't forget that we have the best counseling service on this side of heaven. If you need counseling, family, individual, whatever, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND to make an appointment by phone, Skype, or walk-in, but you have to make an appointment. All right? And personalized shout-outs, whatever it might be for weddings, birthdays, encouragement, whatever. Personalized shout-outs, go to Cameo, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson, cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Before I get to your super chats, I want to play this one last soundbite on. I talked about not overreacting to anything or anyone in life. Do you know that it is abnormal to overreact? When you overreact to anything in life, you're saying that you're blind. You're a blind person that cannot see. Really. And Satan is your God. That's what you're really doing. You are a blind person when you overreact to any situation at all. Satan says to overreact. God says to be still and know. If you be still, and when the storm comes and the boat starts shaking, you can tell the boat to be still. Tell the water to be still. The storm, the situation, to be still. Because you're not overreacting to it. Don't overreact to what's happening to the Great White Hope, and don't overreact to what's happening in your own personal life. You're dealing with evil. And evil want you to overreact because it wants to stay within you. It lives in the bodies of human beings. It lives in the body of human beings. If you are possessed in the mind and emotions, that's evil. And in our country and around the world, but especially America, I put America first, evil has been promoted as good. It has been promoted. Anger. Anger is evil. Anger is fear. And it's being promoted as good. Do not overreact. And if you want to overreact, go ahead. If you think, this man is wrong, I'm going to overreact. I feel fear. I feel lonely. I feel sad. I feel betrayed. I feel this and I feel that. And then, I don't care what Jesse said. I'm going to overreact. I'm supposed to overreact. Go ahead and see where it gets you. See where it gets you. Do not overreact. I want you to watch this. Speaking of do not overreact, this a new campaign ad from the Great White Hope, Donald Trump. Watch this from X.
What do you call someone this weak? Someone caught in a bribery scandal that made them millions, complicit in a government cover-up, and uses your government to get special deals for his family? You call them Joe Biden. And acting just like a corrupt third-world dictator, Biden has unleashed a cadre of unscrupulous government bureaucrats he controls to act like rabid wolves and attack his greatest threat, launching one of the greatest witch hunts in history. But Biden's underestimated the intelligence of voters. And Trump's support is growing even stronger as hardworking Americans come together in huge numbers to stand with the one person they know has their backs and will fight to make America great again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
That's deep. That is so deep. It's amazing. I'm telling you, folks, and every human being have to overcome. Everybody born of the woman, born of the flesh, must overcome the flesh and born of the spirit of the Father. Otherwise, you can't help but overreact. And you say, I'm not going to overreact to the next thing, and the first little feeling that comes, you overreact. And you don't catch yourself overreacting, you go along with the feeling. You're living in hell on earth. People want to know, what hell like? What is hell like? Hell is like what you're feeling on earth. Your misery, your unhappiness, your emotions, your thoughts, your up and down, your false image of self. That's hell. Your loneliness, suicidal thoughts, fear, that's your hell. Looking for love, that's your hell. That's what it is. That's your hell. It's inside of you. And when you drop your body, if you drop your body in your hell, ain't no way out. If there is a way out, nobody found it yet. Maybe there is. I wouldn't bank on it. I will overcome the hell right now. Stop overreacting. That new campaign ad from Donald Trump, The Great White Hope, was so amazing. It was so nice. I want to play it twice. Watch this from X.
What do you call someone this week? Someone caught in a bribery scandal that made them millions, complicit in a government cover-up, and uses your government to get special deals for his family? You call them Joe Biden. And acting just like a corrupt third-world dictator, Biden has unleashed a cadre of unscrupulous government bureaucrats he controls to act like rabid wolves and attack his greatest threat, launching one of the greatest witch hunts in history. But Biden's underestimated the intelligence of voters, and Trump's support is growing even stronger as hardworking Americans come together in huge numbers to stand with the one person they know has their backs and will fight to make America great again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Amazing. Whomever put that ad together, shout out to you. As Hake of the Hake Report would say, shout out to the ad maker. Very, very profound. Very, very amazing. Let me go to California. Jeremiah, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to answer the biblical question this week.
Do you see what you do to yourself, or do you only see what others do to you?
I only see what's happening to myself. Because when you look within and you see if you believe it's God or not, what's really happening is like the devil inside you. He's like his darkness is like just taking over your body with thoughts and imagination. But if you see God, if you do silent prayer and you just watch it and let it pass, you can see how he's not able to do it. And that's only going on inside of you. and you can't see what's going on with others because they have their own thing to overcome. So I only see what's happening with me.
Amazing. I really, really appreciate that, Jeremiah. I wish I could respond to you, but I got to hold off until Sunday. But I do appreciate your response. Are you doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Oh, yeah. Every morning, every night.
And do you keep your mind where your body is during the day?
Oh, yeah, I try to do it 24/7.
Right on.
Yeah, I noticed I do slip up, but I've been trying really hard, and it just, I notice that it's like how much I want it. If I want more and more,
yes,
then I'll focus more and more on myself.
Right on. Just pay attention. Don't freak out. It's happening. It's working.
Oh, yeah. I also had another question.
Yes.
So I'm going to this trade school, and whenever I'm learning, reading, listening to the instructor, talking with other people around me or anything, I try to stay like focused on myself, like you said, like in the present at that moment, like not trying to go out further or trying to get in my head about what they're saying. And I was wondering, because I heard you say that God will give you the knowledge. I was wondering, like, how? What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're doing practical thinking, like what you're doing in school, you're learning from the teacher, or you're learning from doing the job, you should pay attention to that, because once you're done with the class, then you're going to drop the thinking about what happened in class, and you'll be fine. Take good notes and pay attention. Use it. You're using the mind as a tool. It's like you're building a house, and when you're done with the last nailing in the last nail into the house, you're done with the hammer, so you put it down. So when you're in class, make notes, pay attention to what's being said, so that when you do have to sit down to do a test or do the job, without you overreacting, the what you have learned will be made clear to you. The answer will come.
I see. Okay.
But so just relax and use your mind as a tool, but not to live by.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I wish you well, man. It's good that you're getting a trade. Tradesmen are needed in this country like nothing going north. There's so many jobs that that's not being fulfilled because people are not getting trades anymore.
Yeah, it's I saw it that I should do this, so I did it.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, I never really wanted to go to school or college or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great, it's a good thing. I mean, and I told this to my father that I think the worst things parents can do is tell their children that you got to find something, you got to find your passion, you got to find something that makes you fulfilled, you know, and you got to love it. When I just saw, because it like came about that I just saw that my dad was looking for trade schools.
Yes.
And I just saw it. He was talking about HVAC, and he went to a couple of schools, and I didn't even think about anything at that time. I just saw him doing it, and then after a couple months, I was like, you know what, I want to get a trade. So then I was like, oh yeah, my dad did HVAC, and I was like, Dad, what school did you go to? He was like, oh, went to this one. I was like, oh, let's go there on Monday. I'm gonna go sign up.
Yep.
And that was it.
Right on, man. Well, stay with it. I mean, you can start your own business and everything once you're done. But once you learn a trade, you would never go hungry again. I wish you well with that, Jeremiah. Stay with it, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Super chat.
Super chat.
Super.
Chats.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you? Good morning, super chatters.
Yes, good morning, super chatters. Amazing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Karen Williams bought 5 coffees yesterday.
Buy me a coffee.
I'm glad you're back, and thanks for being you. You're heaven's little helper, LOL, lots of laughs. You've helped me realize a lot.
Right on. Thank you. And thanks for your help as well.
Soul
Amazing.
Soul Conscious on Streamlabs, jcleepeterson.live. Men should never show weakness or vulnerability, quote unquote. I totally disagree, Joel. Just imagine if Christ showed, quote unquote, vulnerability. Nobody needs to know what they do not know.
Yeah. I find it so interesting.
That was a response to Joel Friday's TV show.
Oh, yeah. Check out Joel Friday TV from yesterday. It was amazing. I find it so interesting, yet I understand, that a man think, and I don't remember the conversation with Joel what happened, but a man think that it's okay to be vulnerable. I don't even know how you let that out your mouth. Even if I thought that, I would never say it. It just sounds weak.
Now, Joel didn't say that men should be vulnerable, but he said they should be honest. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What a mess.
That extended into American Anchor Baby's show.
Yeah, it sure did.
Gregatron on Streamlabs.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah. Gregatron on Streamlabs. Welcome back, Jesse. You still owe us a week of white history.
I know. What the?
Happy Men's History Month.
Happy Men's History Month. Thank you. And when I was away, I would run into people and I would ask them, I would say to them, Happy White History Month. And most of the people would laugh because they were like, what do you mean? What do people mean when they say white history is every day?
They think that whites dominate society, I guess, and that when they're learning history, any history that they're learning is white history mostly.
What?
Any history that they're learning is white history mostly.
Why? Like, why do you think that?
I don't know. I think they have an overinflated view of how in charge whites are of their own country. Because I don't think that's the case.
What do you mean you never understood? Have you ever found something you like?
I found different things that I like, yeah.
Oh, okay. And how did you find it?
Just by doing them.
Oh.
Yeah. But I never understood the find something you like and go with that. Or find your passion, like your caller said, was bad advice that parents and... Really, I didn't really hear it from parents as much as from the school people who would tell you, find something that you're passionate about, your calling or whatever.
Growing up, I never heard that from my parents or grandparents or any adult.
Figure out what you want to major in.
I never
for college,
heard that.
Stuff like that.
They just taught us to work.
Yeah.
And then they sent us away from home. You get out at 18. And so naturally you thought, well, about work, I'm going to be fine. They ain't say anything about looking for a passion.
Shameful.
What a setup, huh? And now the dumb people run around, I'm so passionate. What's your passion? The so-called expert asks. Ask! What's your passion? If you want to be a grocer or a general or a politician or a judge, you will invariably become it. That is your punishment. If you never know what you want to be, if each day you are unsure who you are and what you know, you will never become anything. And that is your reward. Oscar Wilde. That is so true. Did you understand that? Or do I need, because I'm black and I read that?
You want me to read it?
You see it?
Because he does say have Hake read it.
Oh, okay. Too late. I didn't see that.
If you want to be a grocer or a general or a politician or a judge, you will invariably become it. That is your punishment. That is your punishment. If you never know what you want to be, if each day you are unsure of who you are and what you want, what you know, you will never become anything, and that is your reward. A quote from Oscar Wilde.
And who is that? That's
Wilde with an
quote.
E at the end. He's a guy who's written some stuff over time.
Is he still living?
No, I think he's gone.
That is deep and so true. Thank God that my parents or grandparents or the adults over me, around me, never taught me about passion. I ain't never had to look for no passion. I thought passion was making love.
Terrible.
Did you think the same thing? We got to take a break. 2 more hours to go. Thank you for your super chat. We'll finish up when I come back. And your phone calls. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news. And I'll be back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
Some people pulled shenanigans and accused Trump of doing what they do. What a mess. And the heat wave is continuing. Is it the volcano eruption? I don't know. Record-breaking numbers of migrants crossing the Darien Gap from South America into Central America or something like that, headed our way, headed north. And Amazon is offering medical consultations. This is the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, hour 1. It is August 2nd, 2023 AD, Wednesday. Stay tuned for hour 2. Jesse Lee will be right back to the rest of the Super Chats, the rest of Gregatron's Super Chat, and your calls. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Persecution of the president. I heard that there's a Jamaican Obama judge on one quote-unquote case, by the way. Our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, was indicted Tuesday on criminal charges by a federal grand jury over his alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election shenanigans and leading up to the January 6, 2021 so-called attack on the U.S. Capitol. Special counsel Jack Smith, that preachy guy who you heard on the JLP show earlier this hour, unveiled his case alleging that Trump, with the help of 6 co-conspirators, broke several laws in an effort to remain in the then white on the inside White House. After losing the 2020 election totally on the up and up, most secure in history, Trump has derided Smith's case as politically motivated fake indictment and has been summoned to appear at a Washington, D.C. federal courthouse on Thursday, tomorrow. Now, with 3 indictments looming over his 2024 campaign, it begs the question, could Trump still serve as president if convicted? Yes, in short. Should he win the 2024 election, Trump could try to grant himself a pardon, appeal a conviction to the supposedly conservative Supreme Court, or attempt to dismiss the case entirely, according to experts on election law. Heat wave, I heard it maybe more related to volcanic eruption, but I disavow that. It's climate change. One of the longest heat streaks in U.S. history finally ended Monday when Phoenix's high temperature peaked under 110 degrees for the first time in a month. It was over 110 degrees highs for a month, something like 31 days. It's been a year of abnormalities and streaks, so it's just a testament to how strange this year has been, said Ryan Worley, meteorologist for the National Weather Service in Phoenix. But the heat is far from over in Phoenix, still, and millions of others across the central United States still baking, literally, in triple-digit temperatures. Heat alerts are in effect for more than 50 million people. From the southern plains to the lower Mississippi River Valley, forecasts show North Texas could get as high as 111 degrees today, while New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, could see up to 115 degrees. And it's humid? What a mess. Invasion. The number of migrants crossing the treacherous Darien Gap, according to Commie Nonsense Network, a mountainous rainforest region that connects South and Central America, has broken a new record. There have been 248,000, almost a 250,000, crossings so far this year. An immigration official in Panama said, surpassing the 248,284 crossings that occurred just last year. The 37-mile hike through the Darien Gap brings migrants from Colombia to Panama and is crucial for passage for those hoping to reach the United States and Canada. Wow, build a wall down there or something, right? Around 20% of the people making the dangerous trek are children and adolescents. Authorities say this comes as so-called human rights activists, commies, say that many migrants who fled danger in their home countries are living in limbo in Mexico as they wait for their asylum claims to be processed. They want to pretend like they're refugees. Amazon is Big Brother. Commie Nonsense Network CNN says many consumers depend on Amazon for everything, from essential household items to random gadgets and thingamabobs, so says CNN. This week, the e-commerce giant introduced another interesting offering, a virtual clinic where Amazon customers in the United States can receive telehealth treatment for common conditions directly on their website or mobile app. What a mess. They want to take over everything. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
To stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding. Let me see if I sit straight. Okay. Hassan don't see it. Huh? Hassan can't see it. Oh, he ain't saying nothing.
He gave you a thumbs up.
Just now? What? By rebuilding the man. I'm looking at something here. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53-773, 888-77 Jesse. My brand new biblical question for this week. Do you see what you do to yourself? Do you see what you do to yourself, or do you only see what others do to you? Do you see what you do to yourself, or do you only see what others do to you? Amazing question. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show, JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And don't forget, whatever you might be doing, at the beach, working out, stuck in the airport, your flight is late, whatever. You can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line on TalkScreen Live at 641-793-1500. That's 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, follow us on JLP Talk on Twitter and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Hit the, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever. Y'all know what to do. So, Hake is here. We're just going to finish up with the Super Chats.
Super Chat!
And Manhood Hour is coming up in the next hour. We didn't finish. We ran out of time there. Hake.
Gregatron continues with his Streamlabs. JCLeePeterson.live. Hake, Joel, Nick, Hassan, Doug, and Sean did an great job. It was cool listening to them and the younger version of you, because we played archive clips of your radio show.
Oh.
You used to believe in racism. You've grown.
That's right. I was blind, couldn't see. Amazing. And funny, too, I didn't believe in it while growing up in Alabama. I only believed when I moved to California and started listening to the race hustlers. And nobody were saying that they were wrong, so I thought it was true. What the? But it's not. Thank you.
Ravender on Streamlabs. Trump 24U. Trump 24U. Trump 24U. Amazing.
Amazing. The Great White Hope.
NF bought a coffee. Hi, Jesse.
Buy me a coffee.
I saw my dentist today because my crown recently fell out. So disgusting. That's what he says.
That's all that.
That's not me.
It's all that you know.
It does. The dentist. I read that too well.
I know.
The dentist told me that her crown recently fell out while eating candy. I was like, wow. And I thought to myself, Jesse said titles mean nothing. Here I was thinking that dentists took care of their teeth. Thoughts lie.
It's like going to a barber shop and the barber hair's all screwed up and they're trying to cut yours. But did he say he went to a female dentist?
Sounds like it. NF.
That's what you get. Go to a male dentist.
Superman's
Thank you. Happy Men's History Month.
Indeed. Superman's daddy bought a coffee. Good morning, Jesse and
experts. Coffee.
Jesse and experts. Jesse, it's great to have you back. I would like to ask. After rewatching you explain the Adam and Eve story over 1,000 times, I think we need a book by book breakdown series of the Bible as told by JLP. Come on, JLP. Do it for the people. What?
For the people. That's a good idea. Thank you for that idea. And your super chat, I appreciate it.
Evgeny Crosby with a couple of diamonds on D-Live. Trump is warming up his cell while watching church with Jesse Lee Peterson.
That's right. The Great White Hope.
Justin Childers on Streamlabs. Jesse, I'm realizing society's been brainwashed into thinking that a real man serves a woman. But if he takes charge and leads the family, he's weak. What? And even the Bible thumpers think that way. I see it in churches all the time.
What a mess. What a setup, huh? Thank you.
Jesus Saves donated on JCLeePeterson.live. Thank you for helping me release the devil in me. I'm a woman and Satan used to be my daddy.
Yeah.
But now I walk with Christ Jesus. I can now take the lead from a man the same way Christ leads him. Thank you, Jesse. You are amazing. I want to do an interview, she says. There
are women waking up around the world. They just didn't know. They knew something was wrong with themselves, but they didn't know what it was. And when they hear what it is, they're like, yes, wow, amazing, thank you. Mind blowing, I appreciate it.
The Key donated a few Streamlabs supports, saying spirits, whether evil or good, seek an agreement from the sons of God. In fact, they hearken unto the words to perform them, Jeremiah 1:12. When you understand the power of agreement, you will overcome evil and walk in your inheritance, dominion. He continues with another. Cherish the moment before you speak, James 1:19-20, because evil spirits work in concert, inside of us and outside of us, inside of others, to gain agreement for legal access, Mark 8:33. This is why we're urged to be wise as a serpent, but humble as a dove. And then he says, great movie recommendation on The Pope Exorcist. I watched it yesterday. Anthony Hopkins played in The Right, another must-see film, highly recommend.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Did you see it, Hassan?
Not yet.
Oh. You see a Hake?
Nope.
What?
You're the one looking at me. What do you mean, what? I answered your question.
We're not taking heed to the recommendations, Hake.
Well, it's the middle of the week. Maybe just don't have time. Well, over the weekend, you can catch it.
You just barely recommended it yesterday.
Right.
It's a work week.
Right. That's right. And most people don't have time to watch television during the week.
Right.
Right.
Evgeny.
And we were going overtime with our mess yesterday on Anchor Baby show and Josh.
Oh, man.
Evgeny Crosby.
You don't watch TV during the week, do you?
Maybe here and there.
Most people don't have time to watch it during the week. So you can catch it over the weekend.
True. Evgeny Crosby with a couple of diamonds. Hey, Jesse, Big Barack and Big Mama are looking for a new chef who can hook up tamales and baby back rib.
Amazing. Thank you.
Mike Young says, hey, Jesse, James, Hake, and Hassan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always found it weird to cry during movies like Titanic, The Green Mile, Forrest Gump, because there's nothing to cry about. What about you guys? Anybody?
I'd rather not say.
You cry like a baby, huh? And what's the question?
He's always found it weird to cry during movies like Titanic, Green Mile, Forrest Gump, because there's nothing to cry about.
Oh, in those movies?
Yeah, if you're crying
those
watching
movies, if it made me cry or not, or it should make me cry. They kind of old. I don't remember, Mike. How about you?
I never cried during any of these movies. I've never cried in my life, even when I was born. The only one that I've somewhat seen is Forrest Gump. I never saw Titanic or Green Mile.
Run, Forrest, run. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we all plead the fifth, I guess. Anyway.
Maybe I don't quite understand.
Have you cried during movies?
Oh, I thought you said those movies.
He says movies like.
Like those?
Like those. Those are like sort of epic movies, drama, emotional. Some people cry. They find them moving.
Oh.
Are there any movies like that you cried?
The new Top Gun, I wept a little bit. One glory Denzel tear.
What?
One strong tear like Denzel and Glory.
You cried over Denzel?
No, Top Gun.
Oh.
Denzel cried in Glory, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, where's Denzel now?
He's, I don't know, still kicking.
I rest my case.
What?
Thank you, Mike.
Mav Angel bought 5 coffees saying, amazing.
Amazing. Thank you.
And let me just double check on, thank you guys. That's all for now.
Amazing.
Oh, man. There's one more. Justin Childers says, Jesse, my town of 1700 had some blacks move in. It's been black free for years, but they seem like good people. Do some blacks move to white neighborhoods because they want a good area to live in, or do they always have bad motives, he asks.
Repeat that.
My town of 1,700.
What kind of town only have 1,000 people?
1,700. Oh, approaching 2,000, but it's a small town.
In Russia?
Justin Childers? I don't know. He said he had some blacks move in, though. I don't know if there are blacks in Russia. He said it's been black free for years, but they seem like good people. Do some blacks move to white neighborhoods because they want a good area to live in, or do they always have bad motives, he asks.
What is it about them that seem like good people?
Well, he's not here to answer.
Oh.
But he will respond.
Mike, is it for Mike?
Another time. No, that's Evgeny. Oh, no, that's Justin Childers.
Oh, Justin Childers. What is about them that makes you think that they're good people? I want to know that. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
But that's often how they get in. Like, the first few seem like decent people, and then it gets worse progressively.
What made them seem like decent people?
I don't know. They seem quiet or nice at first, something like that. Anyway, he's laughing.
Oh.
A couple more super chats actually came in on Rumble.
What does Nick mean by Los Angeles according to Google?
That's where Denzel is.
Oh. I rest my case.
Being enlightened till I rise on Rumble says, morning, gentlemen. Biblical question for you. How can church with JLP without JLP be just as deep and amazing? Listening to Joel and Doug helped immensely. Welcome back, Jesse.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, they did an amazing job. If y'all missed Joel and Doug or one or the other, Doug was last Sunday and Joel was the Sunday prior. You go to rebuildingaman.com/church and catch it. It was amazing. Thank you.
And last one from Being Enlightened Till I Rise on Rumble. Amazing! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
Amazing! Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And now that's all for now.
Thank you all. Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me go quickly to Brian out of North Carolina. Brian, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
All is well, sir. How are you?
All is well, man. It's good to see you back on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate
right
it.
On. I called in because after the whole amazing episodes back to back we had yesterday on the Bond Network, there was so much said, man, and I saw so much I had to call in today to talk about it.
That was on Joel Friday TV and the American Anchor Baby. It went the whole 2 hours.
Amazing. I actually didn't catch Joel's show completely.
Oh, okay.
But I got on Nick's show like just in time. I heard the whole thing. But I wanted to point out, and you said, I mean, like you said in the beginning, you say it over and over again. It's a spiritual battle, right? And I think it's so important for everyone, especially men, to know that before you deal with another person, be it a man and especially a woman, you're first dealing with the spirit, right? And you got to know that Satan works through women. It's just what he does. And Joel mentioned that it's attractive for a woman to be vulnerable, but only Satan would find it attracting for a woman to be vulnerable, because then he can use her. And that's wrong. So you got to be aware that it's a spiritual battle, and before you're dealing with a man or a woman, you're dealing with the spirit. And you got to be aware of that, especially as a man, because it's too easy to get sucked in by the women, and the women need the men to be aware of that so that they can come out of it.
If ever there was a time when women need, all women, I don't care, those so-called feminists, whatever they call themselves, or whatever, those all independent women and all that crap, if ever there was a time that they needed men to be men, it is now. Because they are suffering greatly due to the fact that the man is weak. Now, they can overcome it if the man don't overcome. They can overcome it by working on themselves, going and forgiving, doing the silent prayer, watching. But they definitely need men to overcome.
I agree with both of those statements.
Yeah.
It's crazy how two things can be true at the same time.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's man, it was amazing to see, and shout out to Joel for, standing in the fire yesterday, because it's so easy for people to judge. I want people to pay attention to, man, before you think that you're high and mighty, or you want to cast judgment on somebody else. Pride comes before the fall.
Yeah.
And you should be careful what you say about other people.
Amazing. I appreciate that, Brian. You're right. And it was an amazing conversation yesterday. Both Joel Friday TV and the American Anchor Baby, it was amazing. I think did Kylie call in?
Kylie
Kyer.
Yeah, she called in. I think she was the last caller on there.
She made a very, deep point about it, too. She was right on the money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Kaya's doing well.
Amazing. Brian, thank you, man. I do appreciate it.
Right on. Take care, Jesse.
All
I
right.
wish you well.
All right, buddy. You too. Amazing.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. 888-775-3773. Mike. Out of California. Mike, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's Mike in San Diego. Hey, Jesse.
Hey there.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I watched your your feature with John Zerka the other day, and that was so fun to watch that, man. But I got a question about, you said that, what was it like? The past doesn't exist, and the past doesn't exist, right?
Right.
I bet you've been asked about this a bunch of times, but I'm like trying to wrap my head around like what you mean. So but you're also like calling it White History Month. Like I don't think you're trying to be. Like, I think you like history exists, but not the past. So, like, what's the difference? What do you mean? What does past doesn't exist mean?
I'll ask what a question. And by the way, the show you mentioned about John, for those who don't know, it's on the fallerstate.tv and it premiered last Friday. So check it out, the fallerstate.tv. Do you believe, Mike, that the past exists?
I'm undecided right now. I'm listening to you, and I don't know what to think about it.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I like it seems like it does, but like then you're saying it doesn't, and I'm like, what does this guy mean? I'm trying to like tap in.
And when you say it seems like it does, what do you mean by that?
Well, I remember like stuff happening.
And where is the past?
I guess those memories are in my mind.
And so where's the past?
Where is it? Okay, so where is it? It's in, I don't know. I don't know. It's in time. Like, where's time? Like, I don't know.
How is past in time?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Right.
It's
so
confusing.
if the past did exist, you would know exactly where it is.
Wait a minute. Well, when I don't know where my keys are, do my keys exist?
No.
Let's go. Okay, so only
so the past is only
things only exist if I know where they are.
Yes,
Awesome.
if you could see them. The past is only an illusion of the mind, and it is and the devil used the past in order to control you by making you remember so-called good things or bad things. And once you're into that, he makes you think the future will be better. Well, tomorrow is going to be much better. And the future doesn't exist. And so when that doesn't happen, now you got double trouble because it's all an illusion of the imagination.
Okay, so you answered my question with a question.
If you were not in your mind about it, if you didn't believe thoughts about it, there would be nothing to think about, so-called past or future. You will only live in the present right now and not thinking about what has happened or will happen.
All right, now that's like a profound, idea. That's why I'm asking about it. I'm like thinking about this guy's onto something because you're right. Like if that, but do you also mean like the history doesn't exist? Like maybe you don't mean that, or maybe you do.
But history
is that the same?
Like history exists in two ways. We remember history, but in the remembrance of it, it doesn't exist. It's just another reminder. But then we put up statues and monuments to remind us of what happened and who did it. But in reality, it's just another way of remembering. It's an illusion as well, because what happened then is not happening now.
Right. Okay. So, like, the things that happened and the people who did those things, that all is like, those are real. It's not like that. You're not saying that all of that is an illusion, but it's more like it's our thoughts and our interpretation of this thing that we call the past, like a story that leads up to now, and this thing that we think is going to continue on to the future. You're saying like that's all like an illusion of our mind.
The reality. Remember when Black Lives Matter committed an insurrection upon the country?
Yeah.
When they did that then. It's not happening now. So, when we think about it.
Oh, okay.
And so when we think about it, we just think about what happened then, but we still stay with the reality of what's happening now and not try to recover from the past because it doesn't exist.
Got it. So the things that happened in the past, they did happen, but
Yeah.
the point is the only thing that actually exists is what's happening right now.
And when they happened in the past, they were happening then. And when in the next moment, then doesn't exist except for now, then, right now. Whatever happened.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's say Black Lives Matter got up this morning, and at 10 o'clock a.m. California time, they tore down another statue. That happened then, but then the next moment, that doesn't exist anymore except for a memory, and you don't want to focus on memories.
Right. So the only thing is, only what's happening now actually exists.
Yes.
Right now. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Can I ask more questions? I don't know how much time you want to give me. I could go like a couple more.
Okay, go ahead.
That was good. That was awesome. That actually cleared it up.
It
like
does.
What you're saying.
Does
I've
that
heard
help?
you say it like a bunch of times. Yeah. I've heard you say that, and I didn't know what you meant. Like the history doesn't exist. Like it's all an illusion or something. But no, I get what you're saying now.
And if you pay attention to thoughts, you're going to see how the devil, the great deceiver, the liar, the accuser, how he's always trying to make you think about the past or tomorrow. He does not want you to stay present, because in the present, that's where God is, that's where life is, that's where everything is for you. And he needs to bring you out of that into a time, meaning time past or time future, because that's where the devil dwells, and he can deceive you and cause you to act and do the things that you regret later.
Yeah, that's what causes worry.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you never thought about the past or the future, there would be no worries.
Right. I totally get what you're saying. I think I totally get it. No, that rules. Okay. My next question I wanted to ask is, what's your impression of people who are trying to convince you that the Earth is flat?
That they think that their thoughts are the only true thoughts. And any thought that come against that, it becomes like an enemy to them, and they have to convince you so that they can be self-assured themselves.
Yeah.
Everybody, because if they truly knew that the Earth was flat, there would be no battle. They wouldn't be trying to convince anyone of anything, because they know that it's flat. But since they don't know for sure, all thoughts are all lies, and every human being think that their thoughts are true, and they come up against another person who has a different thought, the war begins. Because that insecure thought got to prove to you that it's right until you say yes. It's like with the Christians, when you say to them, Jesus is not God, he's the Son of God.
Right.
They go nuts because untrue thought, another thought has come up against their thought, and they believe it. And if you don't believe what they believe, you become an enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But like I know that he's the Son of God, so I don't try to prove it to anyone. Either they accept it or not. And I don't want them to accept it by force, because if they do, they just believe it because I said it, not because they see it for themselves.
Yeah, so you're standing up for the way it seems to you, and then you're just kind of like offering it. And then it's up to them, take it or leave it.
Right. I can see clearly that Jesus is the Son of God. And seeing that without thoughts, then there's nothing for me to have to prove to anyone, because just like I had to see it for myself before they can see that it's true, I know not to try to force anyone to believe anything, really, because one of the problems with our country and our world is that so many teachers have come along, including parents and especially mothers and others. They have forced you to believe what they believe, and that's why no one is really free, because they only have the intellectual thoughts of someone else and not the truth that comes from God.
Hey, back to that question about time.
Yeah.
What if there's something that happens? Let's say that something comes along your way in your day today, and it's obvious. It seems the logic is that like say somebody says, hey, tomorrow you got to go to court and you're being charged with a crime with 100 years in jail,
Right.
whatever. So like tomorrow something's coming up that's like a complication that you didn't see coming, and somebody's lying about you that's putting you in court. Like, let's say a thing comes up, something that would typically a normal person who's like in this normal mode,
right,
they'd be stressed out worrying about that.
Yeah.
What do you do? What's your recommendation? Because they would say like, well, I need to like get my paperwork together. I need to strategize. What am I going to say? Talk to an attorney, formulate an argument, like plan for the future. What would you say to do with that thing that's worrying them about the future?
Number one, never, ever do not go into thoughts about the outcome. If you need to get your paperwork, stay present, get your paperwork ready, get your little lawyer ready if you need a lawyer, but never think about the outcome. Because if you don't think about the outcome, you can deal with the situation as it happened, and the outcome will always be greater than what you can ever imagine. But if you get into thoughts about the outcome, then you're going to create another outcome and situation, and it will be worse than what you ever imagined. But if you didn't get into your thoughts about it, just deal with it in the present, you'll be fine, no matter what.
Yeah. Nice. I hear the music coming on. Is there a commercial break?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
Right, can I hang out and ask you one more lightning round question, like a fast one at the end?
Okay. Hold on. Let me take a quick break. 888-7753-773. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. 888-77. Jesse, check out, if you haven't already, or if you have, you can do it again, BigClubUSA.com. BigClubUSA.com. Check it out and get your Afro jerky. They are amazing. Watch this. Amazing. People tell me I have a lot of Afro energy. Jesse, what gives you so much Afro energy, they say? Is it energy drinks? No. Is it cigars? No. It's Afro Jerky. Afro Jerky from Big Club USA. Afro male, and you can have Afro Jerky energy too. Amazing, 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 amazing. Check it out and use the promo code JLP33. JLP33 for 15% off of your purchase. It's amazing. I know that some of you are saying, oh, they didn't send mine yet. I think they got the computer system kind of worked out a little bit right now. You know how that stuff is when you first start out. Check out, go to bigclubusa.com. Use the promo code JLP33, all right, for 15% off. Special, it's so good. It really, really is. And the Hake report coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. The HakeReport.com from 9 to 11. And then the American Anchor Baby at 12 noon. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon. And don't forget, support us by donating to cash.app/bondjlp. Let me go. Oh, what's the name? Micah from San Diego. Somebody got. Let me go to what? Is it Juana? Juana out of Texas. Juana, welcome to the show. You're on there. Mic dropped. Go ahead, Juana.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi.
How you doing?
All is well. How are you?
I'm as well too.
Good.
So I called maybe 2 weeks ago. My life was a mess. I was giving a lot of help to my husband for sure. I was not realizing that I grew up in Mexico when my mom was, treat us like, I guess she have hell in her heart too. My dad was going with his friends and drinking to go away from my mom because he was angry all the time. And so I kind of resent my mom for all the time she was talking about my dad, and she hit me a lot, and the way she treated us, feels wrong. And I have so much angry about her treating us that way. So I got married, and I was not seeing that time there was an amazing man. So he is amazing man. So I kind of act the same that my mom did it to my kids. I had 3 kids, and I kind of start acting like that. And my husband keep telling me, "Hey, you acting like your mom. You acting like your mom." And I'm like, "What you talking about? You're not doing that." And sometimes I catch myself acting like her, even saying the same things my mom said. So my husband start following you, and he said, "You need to call your mom and tell her that you not resent her for what she did to you." I did that. I don't have no clue that I was resenting my daddy too. I have different kind of love. It feels different kind of love for my mom than for my dad. It feels like I love my dad more. But when my husband defends my kids, it feels like I start getting angry at my dad feels like he never defend me for my mom. And I start feeling anger. I call my dad and I tell him that I forgive him for not protecting me for my mom. But I still have having problems with my husband. I even CPS get involved. School called CPS and us, and they saying that my husband is doing domestic violence. He never hit me. He never did it, anything like that. I call it my hormones, but I was being very mean to him, and I was not realizing that I was doing to him. Every single time we have a fight, I call my friends and tell my friends everything what my husband did, and I was not seeing what I do to him. And so now my and my husband talk. I'm doing my solid prayer, and I forgive my parents. My husband, he was smoking. He quit smoking. I could see the change in him. Like the first week, it was amazing change. I was looking, and I'm like, he looks different. What is going on? I was still being a, evil woman. I was giving him a lot of trouble, and I cannot see it. He was telling me, he was even pull his stuff in the trunk and trying to leave. And I was not leave. I'm like, what I'm doing wrong, and I cannot see it. I called you, and I started doing my silent prayed and wash my thoughts and everything. And I still, like, past week, I still giving him trouble. But I feel guilty for calling my friends and tell that everything what was going on in my life. And if I think I make my friends look my husband like bad person, and I want to fix that. I want to like your opinion to see what I can do to fix that, because my husband not deserve that.
Number one is why do you feel guilty over something that you had no control over? For something that you had no control over?
Because that's affecting my husband. I feel that the reason for CPS is here is because I was giving help to my husband, and he was trying to like protect my kid,
right,
and protect me, and I make him look bad, in everybody's eyes. Everybody is seeing my side or my opinion, but nobody hears his side. So it feels like I need to fix that.
Well, it can't be fixed because it has already happened. And what you need to understand that when you did those things, it wasn't you, but it was the spirit of evil that had made a home in you. And it was trying to make you destroy yourself and your family. It wasn't you. Had it been you, you would have never done anything like that at all, the real you. But the fake you, the not you that made a home in your mind and emotions caused you to do that. And so it wasn't you, so there's no reason to feel guilty about it. It's enough to understand what happened. That wasn't me, and then apologize to your husband. And from this point forward, never tell anyone what's going on with you or your husband or even in your family, because you can't trust other people. They are dealing with the devil as well, and they will try to hurt you or your husband so they can feel better, get a false sense of life about themselves. So there's no reason to feel guilty if you realize that it was not you. But all human beings are possessed until they forgive and the spirit of evil is taken away from them. That wasn't you. You need to learn from the situation, understand from the situation, rather than keep believing that it was you, because if you think that it was you, you're going to repeat the same thing over or even worse. It wasn't you. It's enough to apologize to your husband. You know what? I was wrong. I am so sorry. I didn't know what was going on with me. And then you would stop doing that. And whatever those people think about him, that's on them. I would recommend you not take any concern about what other people are going to think about your husband, because what other people are evil. If they weren't evil, they wouldn't be thinking anything about your husband. They will understand what happened. You can't make up for it. You have to understand from the situation, and understanding will prevent you from ever doing that again. It wasn't you, Juana. It was the devil that made a home in your thoughts and emotions. All thoughts and all emotions are all lies all the time. Have you apologized to your husband for that?
Yes, I did.
And what did he say?
He said that feels really good. I was never thinking you would realize what you did. And
nice.
Sorry.
Well, that's a perfect way for him to deal with it. So now you drop it and stop believing it was you. Stop trying to make up for something that has already happened. It's done. It's over. There's no need to make up. You can't make up for anything. You just overcome that false self, and you'll become your real self, and you'll be fine. But there's no reason to feel guilty at all. The devil is accusing you. It's not from God. It's not from you. And he wants you to feel guilty, so because it's him that is controlling you, and he'll make you do something else if you feel guilty. Let guilt go. It's not from God.
No, yes, the devil was really deep, and it took me a long time. After I was like, doing the silent praise, and still I feel like so angry about my husband, and I was asking myself, what is the reason I feel that way? I sit out in the middle of the day 2 or 3 times in my bed, like, stay quiet for a minute. That helped me a lot, and it was tough.
Yeah, and stay with that. Whenever those thoughts come, if they come 1,000 times a minute or 1,000 times a day, just know you're in a thought, because you can't have the feeling of guilt or any form of emotion unless you have the thought first. So let the thought pass and you'll be fine. It's not from God. And God is not judging you. He's not accusing you. That is the accuser, the devil. And I love the way that your husband is dealing with it. He's let it go, so it's time for you to let it go too.
He's changing, and I want to thank you so much. He started listening to you. He trying to quit smoking pot like many times, and it was bad. He didn't even talk to me, talk to the kids and nothing. This time, Jesse, when he quit, it was like so calm. And we deal with CPS, and we go to court, and he deal with CPS, and I can see that he was so stressed about that. CPS is lying about a lot of stuff and making him look like, like bad. And I want to help him in that situation too, and I tell CPS, no. CPS call his mom, and his mom tell CPS that he have angry issues. He never have a good relationship with the mom. All the time they get together, they fight. They not talk for a long time and everything. And the grandma not see my grandkids. My family is in Mexico, and I grown up in a family visit my grandmas. But my mom did one thing. She locked the door to go visit my dad's mom, and I kind of resent my mom for that in that time too. Yeah. And I know every single time my husband said, "Hey, you don't take my kids to my mom," and I fight with him. I'm like, "You're doing exactly what my mom she did to me," and that made me angry. And I don't want the kids feel angry at you when they grow up, because let them see the grandma. But his mom is she has so much anger. She grown up with no dad.
But you don't take his kids around his mother or your mother. You're taking them into hell. Grandma don't need to see them. Obey your husband and follow him, and you'll be fine. And don't get all into this emotional crowd with the world. Oh, the grandparents need to see the grandkids. No, they don't, because she's just going to do to them what she's done to her son.
Yeah, that's what I when she called the kids, I put in a speaker, and it feels so much like negative. Like, you see, your dad is not let me see what I'm doing wrong. And that made me feel like, what are you talking about my husband, to my kids?
But that's your fault, because you should not have put grandma on the phone to talk to your kids. Grandma is evil, and you're going behind his back. And you're serving the devil in grandma and in you and everything. And you're destroying this man's kids while he's trying to save them.
Yeah, well, today he talked to her, and she told him that what she told to CPS. So CPS is a big deal right now. We deal with CPS for 2 months. And but she told that to CPS, and my husband said, okay, I think I'm done with her, talking to her. I think my daughter's birthday is coming this Friday, and we have plans to go to somewhere. And she called me and asked me, okay, so my sister already invited me. She said that. My sister already invited me, but I want to know if it's okay for me to go over there. I'm like,
but you see how the devil works? The devil can't get to Adam, so the devil go to Eve. And that's what's happening. You're playing the
Every
Eve role
single-
right now.
Yeah, every single time she called me, and I tell her, I'm like, call Trey because, but she's like, you see, your husband is trying to control you.
That's what the devil said to Eve.
I grown up seeing my grandma follow my grandpa. My other grandma follow my grandpa. And it feels that inside of me to follow my husband and obey him. It was difficult because all these ideas, my friends and everybody, I was listening, everybody, what they want, they wrong. He's trying to control you. It's control. And I was like, yeah, it's wrong. And it came to my head. And I started fighting with my husband. And these 10 years, I was listening to that. After doing my silent prayer and listening to you, and I feel like my husband is my everything. Like, no, God is my everything, but like I need to follow him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. So you give everybody else the finger and follow your husband. Take all those people out of your business, including your mama, his mother, and just say, no, talk to my husband. If he doesn't want to talk to you, I'm done. Don't come to me. Because that's exactly what the serpent did. He tried to get to Adam. Adam said no and gave him the finger. And then so the serpent worked on Eve. And Eve gave in. And that's where all the hell came through the woman into the family. And that's what they're trying to do with you. And they are doing it. So stop it. Don't have anything to do with your mother, his mother, anybody. Don't take their phone calls or anything.
Yeah, well, he told me this morning, can you please lock my mom's phone number? I think we're done with him. Am I yes, baby?
That's right.
I did. Am I yes, baby? Okay. I agree with you. I follow you. Yeah.
And everything's going to work out just fine if you block out the devil. You can't support the devil inside of other people or inside of you. So follow your husband and this CPA thing you're going through. Don't worry about the outcome. Just take it one day at a time. And now that you're overcoming this bad nature into the good nature, this abnormal nature into the good nature, it'll be fine. God is with you. Everything will work out. Because God knows it wasn't you, but it's the spirit that made a home in you, that made you do the things that you didn't want to do. And prevented you from doing the right thing. So don't worry, all right?
Okay, yeah, I have that problem but right now I feel like I have a week that I was like, kind of like not thinking, and my thoughts are kind of out. My husband said, you look positive. I'm like, I am. I have a great life.
That's right. So follow your husband. Don't worry about what has happened. Don't feel guilty. It was not you. It was something else in you. So don't identify with the false spirit that's in your mind and emotion. It's not you.
Okay, so about my kids not seeing the grandma, that's okay?
Yeah, why do you need to see grandma? For what? To screw them up?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I grew up like that, and I had this thinking that's family, and you need to teach my kids that. So every single time I'm trying to bring to the grandma, it causes problems between me and my husband, and my kids seeing me and my husband fight, and it's a bad example. So I was so messed up, Jesse. I'm telling you, I was.
I know. I understand.
A mess.
What a mess. But now you know. Now you know. You didn't know you were blind and could not see. But now you can. And just think about it. God said to the man to get married, take your wife far away from your family and her family. If God thought it was a good idea to be around, why did he tell the man to take your wife away from her family?
Yeah.
All right? So forget about those people. Follow your husband. Your husband and your kids are your family, not those other people. You don't owe them anything, and don't let the devil impose himself on you through your mother-in-law or anyone else.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jesse. My husband want other baby. We have already 3, and we want other boy, you know. I'm like, man, the world is too crazy for having a baby. He said, that's what we're made for.
That's right. Why are you out there in all that mess? You need to be laying up having some babies.
Yeah, I love the feeling about having
forget about you. Don't let your kids see grandma.
Okay.
And follow your husband. Go make some more babies.
We started doing homeschooling this year.
Nice.
Too. My husband was like trying to put me into that, give me help for that too. So finally, I'm like, okay, baby, I'm doing homeschooling. I know he changed a lot. Yes,
I promise you, you follow your husband, you're gonna have peace on earth, and your kids will be fine.
Amen.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse.
You're welcome.
You're a big person in our life.
Well, thank you, and I wish you well. Stay with it. Forget it. Don't go behind your husband's back and do any of that stuff anymore.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you.
All right. She has an amazing husband that's trying to do the right thing. The devil is busy. See how the devil went to Eve? He couldn't get to Adam. What the? Hake is coming to the Hake News. 1 more hour to go. Back in a moment. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
Whole lot of mess going on in the world. They're pushing shots and vaccines like crazy. The flu shot has been a big push for quite some time now, and RSV too now. What a mess. Some people it might be helpful, I'm sure. And fake attacks on our only just justices, such as Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. And Bed Bath & Beyond is back. Wow, cool. What a mess. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It's Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour 3, Manhood Hour is coming right up, guys. And you can call in. There is one line open. But first, Hake news, not fake news. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the Hake Report. Yesterday, we had Joel Friday TV on Tuesdays. And after the Hake Report, American Anchor Baby at noon Pacific time, roughly, okay? American Anchor Baby on YouTube and Rumble. Check it out. And then, of course, at 4 p.m. Pacific time today, an archive throwback Sunday service is scheduled for Bond YouTube channel. It will also be up on BitChute and available for in the Church with Jesse Lee Peterson audio podcast. Throwback Sunday service from August 3rd, 2014. Check it out. It's a pretty good one. I'll get the details nailed down later today. I'm putting down the timestamps and stuff. Flu shots and now RSV vax is endless, right? Major U.S. pharmacy chains are rolling out flu and RSV vaccines appointments ahead of the fall respiratory virus season. Anyone 3 or older, age 3, can get a flu shot. And adults 60 and older, I scoff, but maybe I should disavow my scoffing. Any adults 60 and older are eligible for the RSV vaccine. Pharmacies include Rite Aid, CVS, and Walgreens say they will offer the new China virus vaccines too. COVID-19, they call it, the global homo word for it, once they're available. But the FDA will have to authorize or approve them first. And the scared woman-led CDC, I don't know if the new lady is scared, but she is a woman and she's not a Christian, I don't think, will have to recommend them. In June, the FDA recommended the China virus vaccine manufacturers make a single-strain booster shots for this fall and winter that would target the Omicron subvariant XBB 1.5. Whatever. The new China virus vaccines could be ready by September. As if, I don't know, maybe some of you guys are interested in this. available directly from the manufacturers as part of the commercial market rather than through the U.S. government. Fake attacks on our only two true justices. Approval ratings for the U.S. Supreme Court, didn't know it was a democracy, could remain at record low levels. They do, actually, at record low levels, according to a new Gallup poll. The court's current 40% approval rating is based on a Gallup poll conducted in July, just after the High Court finished another blockbuster term, deciding that colleges could no longer use race as a factor in deciding admissions, striking down so-called President Sleepy Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, and ruling in two major so-called voting rights, no such thing, cases. Many so-called Americans are also closely divided on Justice Clarence Thomas, probably the best justice we have up there, and it's by a long shot, too. As the court continues to issue controversial, meaning in the right direction, opinions and is hit with criticism about ethics standards. Give me a break. On average, 51% have approved of the Supreme Court of the past 23 years. Opinions differ starkly by political party. 62% of Republicans versus 17% of Democrats approve of the job the court is doing. Bed Bath & Beyond is back. Overstock.com bought Bed Bath & Beyond out of bankruptcy, the brand, and they have a digital-only version of the retailer. So it's web orders, I guess, launched on Tuesday. I heard that Overstock changed their name to Bed Bath & Beyond. It's rainy in Beijing. 29 inches of rain have fallen in the capital of China, right? It's the capital, since Saturday. The heaviest rainfall in the Chinese capital in over 140 years. Wow. Typhoon Doksuri has inundated western outskirts of Beijing with floods, swept away cars, destroyed a bridge. What a mess. Japan's facing rain and winds, too. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 3.
Got to stand up strong, think the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way, I know we can find a way, I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show today. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53773, 888-77-JESSE. Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week is a doozy. Do you see what you do to yourself? Do you see what you do to yourself? Or do you only see what others do to you? Do you see what you do to yourself? Or do you only see what others do to you? Amazing. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show, jesseleepeterson.com/show. And you can listen to the show anywhere in the world. Anywhere. You can podcast. You can listen to it at the beach, working out, riding a horse, picking cotton, eating tamales, like Michelle Big Mama, Michelle Obama love her tamales, and whatever. By going to the listen line and calling 641-793-15 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, JLP Talk on Twitter, JLP Talk on Twitter, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Like, follow, ring the bell, and blah, blah, blah. So it's the last hour of the show for today, Wednesday. And every Wednesday, the last hour of the show is Manhood Hour. What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta male. A man is a male who turned to man. Alpha male. Live right, be right, and lead the way.
Where are my men?
Where are the men?
Where are all the men?
Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott criticized his opponent, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
There's no silver lining in freedom, in slavery. The truth is that anything you can learn, that any benefits that people suggest you had during slavery, you would have had as a free person.
Well, where are my men?
What a beta.
Members of the Congressional Black Caucus did not hold back at a press conference on the state of race in America.
Where the hell are all our men? Black people literally feel attacked. There's a ban on black. A ban on blackness happening. It's targeted, it's well-funded, it's organized, and it's orchestrated.
Where are they? Former Texas Congressman Will Hurd writing, slavery wasn't a jobs program that taught beneficial skills.
It did. He's lying. What the? What's wrong with the blacks? Tim Scott, a Republican, as well as his Hurd guy, are beta men, beta males. Just more rhinos. Amazing. I'll get to all of your calls here in a minute. I do want to mention that video put together by the American Anchor Baby, great work. Men, it's time to wake up. If not now, when? You are responsible for you. And the women and the children need you. And ladies, there are some men who are waking up around the world. You hear them calling in. But you don't need to wait for them. You don't need to wait. You can go to the Father yourself. By seeing that you're wrong for resenting your mothers. Forgive your mother. Hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. She has recreated you her image. That same spirit that's in mama is now in you. That's why you act like mama. Forgive her. Your father wasn't able to protect you from her. And forgive your father, and through your earthly father, you can go straight to the Father. Men, you are needed. You got to overcome. You must be born again of the Spirit. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman. It ain't going to work. And men, when I say man over the woman, that means all women, not just the one you're married to. As Christ is over all, so are men over all. But you've lost your natural identity and you're operating in your unnatural identity, which is of your mother. Any male that has anger is a woman. That's why you act like a woman, you gossip like a woman, you don't pray for your fellow man, a woman. You don't do it because you're just like, you have the mindset, the unnatural nature of the woman. You're jealous and envious, strife, bitterness, revengeful. That's the nature of the woman, which is the nature of the devil. And your family and women, they're not going to be able to function unless they go to the Father themselves. You know, give you the finger and go to God because they see this man ain't no good. And these women keep getting these men too, thinking that they're getting a good one, like the man think he's getting a good one, and the cycle repeats itself. When will you have had enough of suffering in your own life? And you're not going to get better by trying to hurt others or being weak or being nice or whatever. You're only hurting you. What you do to others, you're doing to yourself. You're doing to yourself. There is a way out. You must be born again of the Father. And if you don't love your earthly father, men and women, you're never going to love God. It ain't going to happen. I don't care how much your little mama hoop and holler, go to church and teach Bible class and act like you know what she's talking about. It ain't going to work. And you can pray to God until the cows come home. And that's the only thing that may happen. The cows come home, but you'll still be in prison. You will still have fear. You will still have it. But you don't have to. The work is done. It's been completed. The devil has been defeated. That's why he worked overtime in your mind and emotion to distract you from being still. And a lot of people tell me, it's so hard to be still. Oh, these thoughts are just overwhelming me. Those thoughts are not your own. That's what you need to see. Face them. Come out. The light will bring you out, and you can face the thoughts. Thoughts and you. You've been one with the thoughts all your life, and everything you've done never turned out right. When you see you're wrong for being angry, the light will bring you away from the darkness, and the darkness will disappear. Which are the thoughts, imagination, emotions. It's done. There are Christians waiting around for Jesus to return. I've literally had people tell me, I'm not going to ever have perfect peace until I get to heaven. Can you imagine having that kind of mindset? So you're going to live the rest of your life on earth in hell. And the job been done already. The devil has been defeated. Death has been defeated. The sting of death exists no more. But you're going to live your whole life with fake happiness but no peace. What a decision to make. What a decision to make. And by you think you're hurting your family members and others, you're only hurting you. What you do to others, you're doing it to yourself. Cause and effect. Either you want to live a life of cause and effect, or you want to live a life of freedom. I set before you life and death. Choose life. 888-7753-773. Bradley out of Maryland. Bradley, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Jesse.
Hey, Lord Bradley.
My name's Bradley, and I just called to say welcome back, Jesse.
Thank you.
To ask you, you're welcome. And to ask you to please pray for my ex-wife, Connie, who is innocent and has been wrongfully convicted for crimes she did not commit and is currently serving a life sentence in the state of Florida.
Wow.
At the Lowell Annex. Yes, sir.
So an innocent person is serving life in prison in Florida?
Yes, sir.
How did that happen? You know, as much as you can say, don't say what you shouldn't say, but how did that happen where an innocent person ended up serving life?
Well, I'd love to maybe talk to you about that off the air, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I wish her well. That's my prayer. I wish everybody well, man. I wish her well. How is she dealing with
it? If you don't mind, maybe I'll talk to you that off the air. All she really wants is prayers, and being innocent, she's doing. Just pray for Connie.
Okay, absolutely.
And I'd like to ask the whole Jesse Lee Peterson show and family to do the same, if you don't mind, Jesse.
Okay. And what do you want us to pray for?
For her release, and that Ron DeSantis gives me a call back. I've actually emailed your producers a recording of my trying to get in touch with Ron DeSantis to ask for a pardon. But if we could get a pardon for Ron DeSantis and also for Kamala Devi Harris to get in touch with me, that would be amazing.
Amazing. Well, I definitely pray for your wife, man, and I wish you well with the situation.
Thank you, Jesse. Ex-wife.
Ex-wife, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Jesse. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Amazing. 888-775-3773. First time caller out of Sweet Home, Alabama. I was just down there. Shout out to my cousin Leroy, who watched the show all the time. And I was surprised. I didn't know. Shout out to Leroy down in Sweet Home, Alabama. Let me go to a first time caller, Lauren, out of Alabama. Lauren, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
So I just started listening to you and just starting to have a better relationship with God. I was talking about trauma and how I have began dealing with it with benzos because I stopped smoking marijuana. But since I was 11, I have been smoking weed, and it just kept putting me around people that were putting my life in jeopardy. And I'm now 28 years old, and July the 4th is when I just decided to let that go. And I know that turning to another substance is not right, so I started fasting and talking to God and just trying to learn a better way. And I don't, like you said, since the past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist, do you have any advice for me as to where I stand? Because I know the trauma that I feel is a part of my thoughts, and it's something that I'm trying to learn to control. And the anxiety medicine, which is Xanax, it has helped me a lot. But I just don't know if that's something that I should do since I'm trying to have since I am having a better relationship with God. I know I must seek Him first. So I'm just praying for understanding.
So when you talk to God, what do you say to Him?
I ask for forgiveness for, I feel like I've held on to my past. Like I was raped by my father at 4, and my mom didn't believe me until the doctors told her to the extent of what it was while I was on the table, and I can still remember that. And it happened, I was molested by the maintenance man, and when I was 5, they didn't believe me, but they asked him, and then he came back in and did a work order and asked me. So I felt like I was always put in a position to be grown at the age of 5. Like at 4, I should have never had to fend for myself in that way. So I left where I'm originally from and moved to Alabama when I was 15, and I've been on my own ever since then. When I was raped, I was told I would never be able to have kids. So I was dancing to survive because I was in survival mode to stay here. And so basically I met my daughter's dad, and I lied to him about my age because I was 17 dancing. But 18, I ended up getting pregnant, and that's when I first started to have a relationship with God. And I just knew that there had to be a God for man to tell me I couldn't have kids and God to put life inside of me. I knew that God was real, but I didn't fully commit to Christ because of the hurt that I was holding on to. And now I'm in a place that I want to fully commit. And so I go to God in prayer, and I ask for forgiveness, and I ask to be able to love my parents. And my mom, she's always had like a childlike mind, and her Jezebel ways, I feel like that spirit is upon me. I just truly feel like I've used my looks to get where I am. And the reason why I'm with the man that I am with right now is because I used the Jezebel spirit to get him. He ended up divorcing his wife. We bought a house together. We don't sleep together. By the grace of God, He does expect me to not do that. But I've had to send him videos of you to kind of let him understand where I stand. I don't want to live that life anymore. I truly want to submit to God, and I want Him to do that too. So I don't know, I'm holding on to a lot of guilt. So I'm trying to learn how to forgive myself.
Right. And so when you pray to God, what do you say?
I just let it all out. because my daughter, she's about to be 10, and she's experienced what I experienced from her older brother with them touching each other, and it's just really hard. So that was the biggest thing, is I tried to protect her from that, and giving her access to a cell phone at an early age caused her to search. Kids are curious, and I wasn't monitoring her like I should. And then when something just told me to check her phone, and her and her brother were so smart, they were translating stuff in Spanish and Chinese, saying sexual stuff to each other. So I told her dad, because I know the trauma that I've experienced, I cannot allow them to be around each other, because I've talked to my daughter and she doesn't feel safe, but they went behind my back and put them back together. And I'm trying not to take her away from her father, but he doesn't have that relationship with God in order to understand that he has to seek God first to understand why it's important to teach his son that this is not right. But there's been times that since how I met him, I was underage. I was taking Xanax in. I was misusing him. I would be asleep, and he would be having sex with me in my sleep. So I feel like some of his son's tendencies could come from him. So I don't blame the son. I pray for his son, but I cannot sacrifice my daughter's innocence for that.
And so when you pray to God, what do you say?
I just pray for her. I pray for everybody. I don't know specifically the words. Whatever is on my heart, whatever is on my heart, I just pray for everybody and everything around me, even the man in my life.
Can you give me an example of what you say to God? Sometimes do you remember anything to what you say to him?
Yeah, so I'll say, Father God, I just come to you asking for forgiveness of my sins.
Oh, okay.
So they don't hinder my prayer.
And did God forgive you for your sins?
I believe that, but I'm trying to learn to forgive myself.
And you try to forgive yourself. The things that you have done, did you want to do them?
No, it was a survival type thing.
And who made you do the things that you have done that you did not want to do?
Myself, honestly. The spirit, the Jezebel spirit within me, the demons that I've been battling.
But when you say myself, which self made you do the things that you didn't want to do? When you say myself, what self are you talking about?
The little girl that was hurt.
So the little girl made you do the things you didn't want to do?
Just the mind frame of how I felt in that moment.
And so the mind frame made you do the things that you did not want to do?
Yes.
And so if the mind frame made you do it, why are you judging yourself as though it was you?
The devil.
Why are you taking credit for the devil?
Because I've had a lack of guidance. I've been on my own for this long, and the only guidance that I've had is God. Like I said, since I was 15, I'm about to be 29 this year. It's just a lack of guidance, and just now fully knowing how I have to have a relationship with God is the reason why I'm in this call.
If the devil made you do those things, why are you judging yourself knowing that it wasn't you, but it was the devil that caused you to do the things you did? Why are you feeling guilty?
Because it happened to my daughter.
But why are you feeling guilty? It wasn't you. And if that did happen to your daughter, it wasn't that person. It was the same devil that made you do the things that you didn't want to do. Why are you taking credit for it knowing that it wasn't you?
I don't know.
What do you think about that question?
Okay.
I'm sorry?
That's a hard one for me to answer because I genuinely don't know.
So let's think about it. And I understand what you mean, too, when you say you don't know. That is so true. But let's think about it. You did some things that you didn't want to do. Something else made you do it. But yet, there's something else that made you do the things you didn't want to do, made you take credit for it so you could feel guilty about something that you didn't do.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so, if you know, well, I understand when you say you didn't know, I totally understand that. But you ask God to forgive you for something that you've never done. And God knows that it wasn't you. So why are you asking God to forgive you for something that you never did, knowing that God never judged you for anything because he knows it and knew that it wasn't you. He knew that something else made a home in you, and it was making you do it. So why does God need to forgive you for anything? He never judged you because it was never you.
Thank you.
No,
I needed to hear that.
That was a question. That made sense?
Yes.
And what makes sense about that?
Accepting the fact that we're born into a world of sin, and I had to let go of the bondage that I've allowed the devil to have over my life.
But you didn't allow it. You didn't know it. No one told you when you were growing up that it wasn't you. You have identified with the not you. And it's not you, which is the spirit of the devil, makes you think that it's you, and it makes you think that you're doing those things, and you're not. So God has never judged you. He knows that you're possessed with the spirit of evil in the mind and emotions. And do you want to be free from that?
Yes, I do.
You got to forgive your mother for what she's done to you, and forgive your father for what he's done. They couldn't help it either. The same devil that's been controlling you, it's the same devil that controlled them, and it was passed on to you from your mother when you became angry. When you become angry, you take on the same spirit of the person that you're angry at. So you got to go and forgive your mother. And that's what God will forgive you when you forgive your mother and forgive your father. Then you'll be free. You'll be able to see, and everything will start to open up, and it'll be amazing. But you're not guilty of anything. You have never done anything wrong in your entire life. It was never you. But you identify with it because no one told you it's not you. That's a thing that made a home in you, in your mind and emotions when you became angry. So God will change your heart when you forgive your parents. There's never, ever, 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 but never, never, never a reason to be angry. Because just as you couldn't see what was happening through you, your parents could not see what was happening through them. They can't see. Forgive them. They know not what they do.
Yes, sir.
And
I appreciate that.
so you need to go and, hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you for screwing up my life. And father, dad, whatever you call him, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help yourself. I'm sorry for resenting you. The body has already healed, but your spirit has not healed. But once you forgive, I promise you the spirit will heal, and the darkness of the imagination will disappear, and you will have a clear mind.
Yes, sir.
But
and back to what I was saying about, I went to see a psychiatrist, and she ended up, I told her I was done smoking weed, and she ended up saying that she wasn't there to hear my problems, but she was more like the pill lady. So she gave me Zoloft and Xanax, and I did research on the Zoloft, and I was hesitant to take it, but I was just like, one night I took it, it was like 2 nights ago, and it completely disrupted my spirit. Like,
yeah.
When it just destroyed it was destroying my thoughts, and those thoughts that I was overcoming started to come back, which is why I feel like I'm in this place right now. So I'm grateful for you talking to me and giving me understanding and clarity. And the pill is finally getting out of my system because I only took one of them, and it was a low dosage, she said. But even last night, I sat here and I thought about, forgiving my mother because she continues to do things, and I'm forgiving everybody because I sat here just knowing if I go to sleep with that on my heart, I'm going to wake up with it, still bothering me.
Yeah.
And I talked to my daughter's dad about, things, and I've helped him so much, but he has his parents, and they've always been there for him. I don't have that source, so if I fall, all my crutch is God, and I've given him a car recently, and last night I pay his phone bill and everything, and last night I called to have Bible study with my daughter, and she can't have a phone, but he has the Bible app on his phone, and I told him to give her the phone so we can have Bible study, and he was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, I'm helping you as best as I can, and you're blocking me from healing my daughter. And I told him I'm going to set a time frame for you to get yourself together, and I need you to give me back the car and the phone because
you gave
at this
him
point
a car?
you're blocking me. Yes, I did.
A CAR car?
Yes, because I flip cars. That's what I do.
What the?
Hold on. Can you hold on, Lauren?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hold on. Amazing. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Quick break. Back in a moment. The treasure chest is now open on D-Live. Back in a moment. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true. It's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Okay. Couple quick announcements. Number one, the Hake report is coming up right after my show at the top of this hour. The Hake, H-A-K-E report.com from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And James Hake is on fire. He ain't got that good hair for nothing. He's on fire. And at 12 noon, the one, the only, Anchor Baby, American Anchor Baby, at 12 noon Pacific time. And on Fridays at 4 p.m., the Anchor Baby Fly High. Not high off pot, but high off life. So check out the Anchor Baby at 12 noon Monday through Thursdays, and on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. The Anchor Baby, the American Anchor Baby. And don't forget, support us by donating to cash.app/bond JLP. And for personalized shout-outs, go to Cameo, CAMEO.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Birthdays, encouragements, whatever the shout-out is, shout out to Congratulations, whatever the situation may be. All right. I want to go quickly back to Lauren, and first-time caller out of Sweet Home, Alabama. So, Lauren, you gave this man a car?
Yes, sir.
And well, I already know. But here's what I recommend. Do what you want, of course, but I recommend you stop trying to help anyone. You can't help anyone. I can't, you can't, no one can, except that they want what's right, and then they have to return back to the Father. You can't help anyone, so I want you to stop doing that, and right now work on you and watch over you. You have a child living with you or something?
Yes, sir.
And watch over your child, and God will guide you, and it'll be amazing. But you can't help anybody.
Yes,
These people are taking advantage of you by you thinking that you can help them. You have no business giving a man a car.
Yes, sir.
So drop all that idea that you can help someone, all right?
Okay.
And I want to encourage you, you got to FaceTime with your mother or call her. I mean, are you able to see her?
Yes, sir. She's just in the hospital, so I was down there with her.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, is she in Alabama where you are?
No, all of my family's in Tennessee.
Oh, well, FaceTime with them. That way you don't have to go over there unless you want to. And say, hey, Mother, I'm sorry for resenting you for what you've done to me. I realize now you can help yourself. And have no expectation from her. Don't expect her to apologize. Don't expect her to admit she was wrong. You don't need her to do it. If she does that, that's for her, not for you. God will forgive you when you forgive others. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
And your only sin is resentment. When you have anger, your heart is wicked. Salvation is of the heart. But all that other stuff came about as a result of having a wicked heart. It was just vices and situations that happened, but it wasn't a sin. The sin is the anger. Anger is judgment. And anyone that judges is playing God. And so you got to see how to speak up, but don't resent. Don't judge. You'll be fine.
Yes, sir.
But so,
thank you so much.
And do you know for sure your father did that to you, or did someone tell you that?
I don't remember the exact moment that it happened. I only remember the doctors telling my mom I was ripped from my vagina to my rectum.
Oh, okay.
Which would cause me not to be able to have kids.
And you don't know if your father did it or not?
No, I just told my brother that I don't know. I really don't, because my mom had so many men around.
See there? So you could be, you could be falsely accusing your father. So let that go. And if you have any questions about it, go to him in private and ask him about it and drop it.
Yes, sir.
Because you could be hating your father for no reason at all. And even if your father admit that he did do it, forgive him so God can forgive you and make you free.
He actually took a lie detector test and passed it and everything.
That he didn't do it?
So, yeah.
Wow.
He didn't do jail time or anything.
So,
I actually, my dad I didn't find out he was my biological father until I was 11, because we moved into like a haven house and everything where they were like trying to protect us. And 11, my mom, something changed where she needed financial help, and we tried to put him on child support. So they got a DNA test, and he was my dad, and he came in my life, and he began telling me about God, and he truly was always trying to be there for me and show me the right way, but nothing made sense until now as I'm older. And I don't feel like my dad did that to me. I just genuinely don't.
Then stop saying that then, because a lot of girls are told that by their mothers, and the mothers do that because they hate the father. They hate the father, so they turn their children against the father and create pain in your life. But stop saying that about your father, and he's proven that it's not true anyway. And even if it was true, you don't need to be saying that. Forgive him so that you can love him, and that way you'll return to God and you'll be fine.
Okay.
So stop telling people those things about your father, especially since I would suggest you not do it anyway, but since he's proven that he didn't do it, you draw closer to your father.
I have been. I talk to him every day. We FaceTime. I love my dad so much.
Nice.
I do.
Nice. Well, you're going to be fine. Are you doing my silent prayer video?
I just started listening to you, so that's what I'm fully in, and I'm committed to learning the right way.
Yeah. Do the silent prayer, www.silentprayer.video or rebuildingtheman.com/church, and do the prayer, and just, and God's going to bring you out of your imagination. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be as though you never had a past and there's no future. You're just going to live in the presence of God.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Jesse. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. But just know you're not guilty of anything.
Yes, sir.
And stop saying those things about your father.
Yes, sir. I'll do that as well.
And if your mother don't change from her evil ways, stay away from her.
Yes, that's what I've chosen to do.
Oh, good. But just don't resent her. But don't keep going in the presence of evil. And that's what happens when you go around your mother.
Yes, it is.
So, but forgive her, though. Her mother did it to her. It goes on from generation to generation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I still take her calls, and I encourage her. She's going into like a reprobate mind where she just some things don't click. But like you said, once you forgive him, just be there for him the best way I can. But I'm not going to sacrifice my relationship with God to do that.
And don't let her around your children or anything.
I don't anymore.
And you can't save her, though. Don't try to save her. You can't save her. None of us can save ourselves. How is it that we can save others, right? You just become a living example, and either she sees the truth or she doesn't. If she doesn't, let her suffer and die. It has nothing to do with you.
Yes, sir.
You don't owe her anything.
Yes, sir.
Just don't resent her. So, and don't be buying men cars. What the?
Yeah, so I was in a bad car wreck. I usually go to the dealer's auctions, but I was in a bad car wreck on May 8th, and I was hit from behind, and it totaled out my vehicle. So I haven't been able to go to the auctions and do stuff. So I had a car sitting around, and he hasn't been able to get where he needs to get, and I don't want the car to sit around and not be used. So I told him that he can get on his feet.
Ain't no such thing.
But he's not using it for it.
No, ain't no such thing as a man can't do it. Man can do what he needs to do. Stop being his mama.
Yeah.
If he needs to get where he needs to go, he can walk. If he can't take the bus, he can walk. He can hitchhike.
Right.
I bet you if you wanted to have sex with another girl and she lived in Alaska, he would find a way to get to Alaska.
Absolutely.
Right. Stop that. Stop doing that.
Okay.
So here's what I recommend. Do the silent prayer. Forgive your mother. And it sounds like you forgive your father. And do the silent prayer morning and night and just watch those thoughts. You are not your thoughts. All thoughts and all emotions are from the devil. It's not you. And God will rebuke the devil from you and you'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
And stop feeling this false sense of guilt. You're not guilty of anything. You've never done anything wrong. You're neither a saint nor a sinner. You're neither right or wrong. You're none of those identities that you've taken on. So stop judging yourself. Stop letting the devil judge you and making you think that God is judging you or you judge yourself. It's not true, all right?
Okay.
So before we go, anything I said that you disagree with?
Not at all.
And was this helpful for you?
Yes, sir. It's everything I needed. It was confirmation because all of this I told him last night as well. And everything that you said, I felt it on my heart, so it was just confirmation.
Right on. God is with you. So let go of all ideas and all plans and all thoughts. And I'm telling you, Lauren, you'll be free. It's going to be amazing how you're going to see that you have never done anything wrong. It was always you were always possessed by the spirit of evil in the mind and emotion, and it been causing you to do those things. It was never you. So there's nothing for God to forgive you for except of the heart, Once you forgive, you're going to be fine, all right? Let me know how it goes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wish you well.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I wish you well as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Amazing, huh? It's not you, folks. Stop identifying with the false self. Stop taking credit for evil. It's not you. Just think about it. You would never do the things that has been done through you. And by the way, I forgot to mention, you can get my Happy Man History Month shirt by going to rebuildingtheman.com/store. You can get the Men History Month t-shirt by going to rebuildingtheman.com/store. Amazing, huh? Nice. Look at there. Let me go quickly to Chuck out of New Jersey. Chuck, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse. How you doing?
All is well, Chuck. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Good.
I was wondering, I noticed that you call Donald Trump the Great White Hope all the time. Are you familiar with how that phrase was coined?
I think it was, some people have mentioned that to me too. Some boxer or something like that, white guy who was a good boxer, I think, and he came up with or given the name the Great White Hope. Am I right?
Partially. You're familiar with the heavyweight boxer Jack Johnson, correct?
Kind of, but I was too young to pay attention to it.
Yeah, he, at the time, we're going back almost to the turn of the century, 1910. In fact, the fight occurred July 4th, 1910 in Reno, Nevada. And there was a fight between the former heavyweight champion, James Jeffries, and the current heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson. A little backstory on that is that...
Make a long story short because of time.
Yeah. At that time, the only weight class that didn't have a black champion was the heavyweight class. That class was reserved. They had white champions and black champions, and there was a thought at the time to unify the weight class. And Jack Johnson, James Jeffries, was asked to come out of retirement to fight Jack Johnson, and it was a writer by the name of Jack London who coined the phrase, and the term reflects the racism and the segregation of the era within which Jack Johnson fought. So Johnson was the first African American to hold the world heavyweight champion title and was one of the best fighters of his generation. Subsequent to the fight was, Jack Johnson beat Jim Jeffries.
And Jim Jeffries was white and Jack Johnson was black?
Yes, sir.
And Jim Jeffries was white?
Jim Jeffries was white. James Jeffries was white.
Okay.
And what happened after the fight was recorded on film, and after the fight, the film was shown around the country, and every time the film was shown, there were riots afterwards. So much so that it was Teddy Roosevelt at the time asked Congress for a bill to stop the showing of the fight at various theaters across the country.
Why were they fighting?
And
why would there be a riot?
Why were they fighting?
No, yeah. Why would there be a riot when they show the film?
I mean, think about this, Jesse. We're talking about 1910, and at the time, segregation and racism was rampant around the country, and there was a lot of people who thought that Jack Johnson shouldn't have won the fight. So they had race riots all over the country as a result of it.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I said, this is unreal for something like this to happen. But then again,
the mind can make people do crazy ththings.
Yeah, we're products of the 20th century, the latter half of the 20th century. Now we're in the 21st century, but unfortunately, this happened in 1910 in Reno, Nevada. I think the fight was attended by close to 60,000 people went there to see the fight, and the unfortunate part of it is that Johnson was such a good fighter that once he got the upper hand on the Jeffries, he toyed with them throughout roughly 20 rounds, because at that time those fights would last upwards of upwards of 40 rounds. They were 2-minute rounds as opposed to 3-minute rounds that we have today.
Amazing. Well, I'm sorry, man, but I got to run, but I absolutely appreciate the nice Men History Month. That was so amazing. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and I'll call you again sometime.
Okay, buddy. And you agree with me that Donald Trump is the great white hope then, right?
I'll reserve thought on that until later.
What the? But I really appreciate that Men History moment. Thank you, man.
All right, you take care.
All right, buddy. Amazing. Super chat. I'm looking at the clock here. Super. So while James is coming in,
yes, sir,
I want to say to Prep Ham Paul. Prep Ham Paul. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, I think so.
Prep Ham Paul. I got the beautiful pen. The Conservative Christian Flight Attendant pen. Thank you, man. It came in the mail while I was out of town. And so it was on my desk. I saw it yesterday. Isn't that beautiful? Nice. Let me hold it so you can see the whole thing. Amazing. 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 Thank you, Prep Ham Paul. I met Paul during the flights.
Ah, cool.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Super chat.
Over on Streamlabs, Prince Vibes donated and said, I'm in Texas working on overcoming, but this heat fitting to kill me.
Man.
Looks like the creek going rise for us. Hot, sweaty, red-faced emoji.
Yeah.
At least I got to hear JLP one last time. See you on the flip side. Jesse, I'll pull your feet at night to let you know if hell is real. Stay amazing. Crazy face emoji with tongue sticking out and googly eyes. I guess this heat's going to kill her.
It was burning up in Georgia and Alabama. I turned blacker than black. It was so hot. And then this smothery heat, it get in you, and it want to hurt you. So I understand what you're going through down there. Thank you very much.
Truck driver bought a coffee. Jesse, where are you? In Nicaragua?
I'm not in Nicaragua anymore. I'm back at home in L.A. But thank you. But I was down in Alabama and Georgia.
Nice.
Thank you.
Ravender on JessieLeePeterson.live. That's Streamlabs. Jesse, you are James Hake. Fish Hake emoji. Amazing.
Thank you. Amazing.
Justin Childers says, why do they seem good? Meaning this is in answer to the black new neighbors. 1, the father is in the home. 2, they fixed up the house they got. 3, he smiles big when I wave to him, even though I'm white. 4, he walks his bulldog every morning, which shows dedication and commitment. 5, the woman isn't loud. That's why they seem good. The new neighbors. The one N-word you don't want to call blacks.
They
Just kidding, I disavow.
Those are good signs.
Nice. But do they have ill will, or do they mean well, just trying to get to a better place?
Well, what happens is the blacks that move in, not all, of course, but most of the blacks that move into the white neighborhoods, they are too lazy to take care of their own places, their own hoods, and so they'll move in and they'll just destroy because they just don't care and too lazy to take care of their own stuff. But shout out to the bulldog from her son. Thank you.
Being enlightened till I rise with a Rumble rant. Hey, Jesse, how can I get that shirt that you're wearing, a Men's History Month t-shirt?
Go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores. rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Amazing.
He says, it's amazing. Totally missed my chance to grab a White History Month shirt, too. But you didn't miss your chance. You can still get it, I think.
Yeah, you can. Go to whitehistorymonth.com.
No, whitehistorymonth.store.
Oh, whitehistorymonth.store. The Anchor Baby said, yes, you can still get the White History Month shirt as well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Let's see. Over on Streamlabs, one more from the Key. Jesse, what is your understanding of the phrase, your sins will find you out? This phrase was used repeatedly in the Pope's Exorcist.
I don't know what that means. Your sins will find you out. Maybe just another saying. Really. I want y'all to know that God is not judging you for so-called sin. Sin has been conquered. He judged you based on the heart. That's why he said, go and forgive so you can be free. Have no anger toward your fellow man, because when you judge your fellow man, you're judging God. We're made in the image of God, right? So when you forgive, you will never judge again, not yourself or anyone. You'll be free. Free. Thank you.
And thank you, guys. That's all for now.
Thank you all. Amazing. Amazing.
Nice.
And Prep Ham Paul, thank you again for the amazing pen. I appreciate it. All right. Listen, become your own man. Become your own woman. Go and forgive your mama. And forgive your father for not protecting you from mama. And God will forgive you. Don't ask for forgiveness. You forgive them. And he will forgive you. Do the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/church. And the prayer is there. And wake up. It's time to wake up. If not, when? If not now. Listen, the Hake Report is coming up now. The Hake Report. Alex, a first-time call out of Illinois. Somebody just hung up. JT, a first-time call out of Georgia. Georgia on my mind. And Arthur, a first-time call out of Colorado. Call me tomorrow. I'll be here if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Tomorrow is Bible Thumper Thursday. Bible Thumper Thursday. The Anchor Baby, American Anchor Baby, is at 12 noon today, so a busy day. Have a good one, folks. My time is up for now. And Hake is coming up now. Thank you all. Super chats and everything. I appreciate it.
So you get something went wrong, but check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. Stand up, we got fighting to do. We gotta show him who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you. Igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You understand in the move. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa. You must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause you must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Other than sex, I wonder, why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man. Even though she hate that role. When she was with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagined that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal.